Good morning, my beautiful followers. How is everyone doing today? Hope the weekend was amazing. I know it was for me. And so today I was really thinking because I often sit in meditation or right after my meditation. If it doesn't come through, I'll sit and I really will ask Spirit for my message for the day. And I was thinking back through a couple clients I saw this weekend, and then I saw some family and some friends, and some of the things that they were sharing with me, and then things I was sharing with them as well. And I heard a whole lot of ego this weekend, a whole lot of ego. And I don't say that in a negative way because we all have ego. We all have ego. So our egos can really help us, can really, support us at times. But they also can be of a detriment. Like, we all have it. You're not going to get rid of your ego. Welcome to being human. You're going to have your ego. And so I was thinking about just some of the things that were coming to me, and particularly in relationships and our egos in relationships. And a lot of times we are too far gone. By the time we realize we're massively in our ego, we are too far gone. Now, you can do this thing called witnessing. And today is really going to be focused on a technique, but bear with me a second before I get to the helpful technique that I'm actually just feeling really called to share today. But there is this witnessing process that we all have. It's like going to the movies, and we watch the movies and our consciousness gets really wrapped up in the emotions of the movie and the actions in the movie. And guess what? At the end of the day, we still know that we are watching something on a movie screen or on a television screen. We do that same thing internally. If you were to just quiet your mind right now, or try to quiet your mind, you would hear this inner chatter in your mind. You would feel this emotion come up, and then you would try to make sense of it. And so this is this witnessing process we can go through of seeing all of that. Well, most of the time when we're in relationship, we are in this process, and we can easily get sucked into our egos. And like I said, a lot of times we are too far gone by the time we realize we are massively in our ego. But there could be this energy of still wanting to be in a space of love, wanting to understand that other person, wanting to really be in a space of love or move through your own shit. Because guess what? Shit in relationship is your shit as much as it is somebody else's shit. So you called it into your life, all of that. And so, what do we do? What do we do? So first of all, we try to think in this space of witnessing. We try to witness ourselves in a relationship. We try to witness somebody else in relationship as well, outside of the emotions, the thoughts, all that drama. All that drama we like to cause as humans, and we all like to do it. Hold on, coffee moment. I love coffee. I love coffee. Anyway, back to this. But a lot of times we get super far down the road. And one of the things I'm really known for in my one-on-one coaching and my workshops is I love experiential techniques. I absolutely love them. I get really pumped up. I tend to be an introvert, but when I get into a workshop where I really get to jump into this thing called psychodramatic technique, I get super crazy and fun and playful, and I absolutely love it because there's so much healing, so much growth. It is definitely one of my zones of magic in my life and my work with clients. But that's kind of what I want to share with you today. So a lot of times when we're in relationship and we're in our ego, we get in that space of they did this or he or she said this and all of that. It is important to be able to separate from that. And when we're in this world, guess what? We're not going to separate from it. We're not going to separate from that. We're probably most likely going to make it worse. We're going to make it worse, and we're going to continue that swirl and continue our ego. So what do we do? What do we do? And I told my clients to do this weekend. And it might feel a little silly. And guess what? Who cares? It feels a little silly. But I want you to get an empty chair. I want you to get another chair. Hi, everybody jumping on. Paul, Arjun, Frank, everybody. So nice to see everyone jumping on. So I want you to get an extra chair. And then I want you to sit in that other chair like you are that person. And I want you to talk about the situation from that perspective. I know it might sound silly. You might be like, yeah, I'm going to think the same way. They're going to say this and this and this. But you will be surprised, because when we actually try to embody another person in this acting type of way, where we try to really step into their shoes, it is amazing how our brains actually will see a different perspective. We switch the brain pathways when we do this type of work. So, and it's called empty chair technique. You can look it up. It's pretty basic, but you really step into that person's persona. And so if you're in an argument, sitting in that other person's chair and saying, I'm not in a fight with somebody named John, but we're going to make up a man named John that I'm in a fight with. If I was in a fight with John, I would then go and sit in John's space and be like, Addison, this is what's going on and this is what's going on. I would try to explain it from John's perspective. And guess what? You gain so much compassion, you gain so much knowledge. And then I want you to switch back to your kind of perspective. And then I want you to talk from your perspective as well. And then I want you to go even deeper into John. Then you're going to be doing this flip-flop of chairs for probably at least 15, 20 minutes, okay? This is one of those things that I want you to dive deeper into. And I want you to really get into, okay, well, what else could it be? And if you're really struggling with this, I want you to really look at, like, Byron Katie. If you don't know who Byron Katie is, go look it up. I want you to ask yourself, is that really true? Is that really true? So if you're saying something and you're like, well, you just hate me. Well, is that really true? Does this person who you're in a relationship really hate you? Really fact checking. But when we actually step into that other person's role, we see a totally different perspective. It allows our egos to, yes, still be there, but to also take a little bit of a back seat for a second, and forces us into this witnessing mode versus sitting there and going, okay, let me think about their perspective. Guess what? You're still in your ego. You're still running from the same brain pathways as you always are, versus if you try to actually become that other person for a moment and really see this perspective that they have, it really does change our brain pathways. It changes how we visually see things. I love these experiential techniques because there's been many times when somebody has had one viewpoint on something in a workshop and then they switch to somebody else, or they actually will turn that feeling, that emotion into an object and really make it external from them, which is, again, the witness mode. And it allows them to actually take a picture of their world like they never have before. And I say in my title, relationship to anything, because the fact is, even if you're struggling in your job, these are always good techniques. So have your job talk to you. If you're struggling with a business, have your business talk to you. It is amazing when we set our egos aside, when we get out of our normal brain pathways, how doing this allows us to truly open up to different perspectives. And not only different perspectives, guess what? Spirit can then speak to us because we've stopped all the blocking bullshit that we oftentimes have going on with our egos. Whether our egos in that moment are trying to help us or tear us down, the fact is, getting in this witness mode really does allow this space for growth and to just even see things and have more compassion. Because a lot of times we say, oh no, I have compassion for somebody. But guess what? We put ourselves above that other person. And if you're putting yourself above anybody, you are not being freaking compassionate. That is not compassion. That is sympathy. That is not compassion. That is not looking at somebody and going, whew, like, yeah, I do see their perspective, and like that's gotta be like that swirl of their thoughts and their emotions, that must be really difficult. You know, I see that, but seeing at it from a very same level versus seeing it as an above level. So this technique, this method really will help you step out of that. Because I think we can talk about our egos, we can talk about witnessing all we want, but the fact is, sometimes we are too far gone to do this mental work. We really have to step into more concrete things to try to move us. Right now, there's a lot of people speaking a lot of things and doing this, but the fact is sometimes we have to take action. And this is a beautiful action when you do feel stuck and you do feel in a space where you're struggling to witness, where you're really struggling to witness and move forward and take those next steps. I can tell you in my life, this has moved me forward multiple times in my world. It has blown my world up in good ways because I've been able to really see a different perspective. But especially in relationships, this will allow you to see a different perspective and get out of your mind pattern. Because guess what? Like, your mind pattern isn't what that other person's mind pattern has or is going. So you need to step into their kind of consciousness without really, you can't step into their consciousness. But as much as you can to really see these perspectives and gain better clarity, and hopefully heal a relationship. Or just heal your relationship with your business, with your, with your work, with whatever, with God. I have done this where I've talked to spirit lots of times. I'll put spirit in, I'm like, okay, I'm not understanding what we're doing here, and I'll put myself in that spirit, that higher level self, and have that conversation of flipping back and forth. So act like stepping into spirit and then stepping back into Addison, stepping back into spirit, stepping back into Addison, and having this crazy conversation with myself. And I promise you, it does make a difference. It does make a difference, and you can't just write it. You have to actually do it. And I know it's going to be silly, but trust me. So, all right, guys, take that technique. Hopefully that will help you move forward and step into a deeper level of compassion, healing, and growth in your relationship. Hopefully it'll help you grab that fire within that I'm always talking about. So, all right, guys, I'm going to let you go, but you can follow me here on this channel. Subscribe to get all my little coaching nuggets, and you can always work with me one-on-one at addisonbell.net. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed, and go grab that fire within. Love you guys.